It's day 3 of designing an Animal Crossing island in 30 days using only DIYs. Yesterday, we donated enough to upgrade our museum from a tent to an actual building. We found our very first villager, Eric, who is in the top 50. And we donated enough materials to complete Nook's Cranny.
It's the 30-day DIY island.
Today, we're going to try and place down the 3 villager plots that we need for our 3 initial villagers that we got to go find. One of them already being Eric, which is awesome. I'm hoping today to find the next 2, but it looks like our current residents have their houses all fixed up. Let's see who's crafting. It is not Stinky. Hopefully Paula is crafting. We will say hello, though. Paula is not crafting, which is a shame. I was hoping to get that extra DIY today. As you know, we're going to need a lot of DIYs. And we are on day 3 of this challenge, so the anxiety, it's getting intense. We do, of course, have the fully finished museum now, well, minus Brewster. And this is great because now I can spam a whole bunch of bugs and fish fossils and unload all of the stuff on Blathers. It's always nice to get to this part of the game where when you are trying to complete your museum, you can just come in here and quickly check and see what's already been donated or not. Also, I need to make it a daily ritual to come in here and buy up everything I find in Nook's Cranny, because we need to try and get this place upgraded so we can stop worrying about it. So we're going to buy some furniture that we are immediately going to sell back. And before we continue, one thing I'm kind of worried about is how our mascot is feeling. You see, the Gee-Whiz mascot is meant to represent extreme indifference to the island of Gee-Whiz. But unfortunately, when the mascot shows up on a shirt, it just kind of looks too happy. So I thought today we would make some subtle changes and improve the Gee-Whiz mascot. And I think the best way to do this is to take full advantage of the line tool, which can really turn this, mascot into a masterpiece. I'm also going to give him some, larger eyes. I think that'll help a little bit. I'm going to do a larger mouth as well. Yeah, I think extreme and existential indifference is starting to shine through here. I am doing my dailies now. I found all the fossils that I can grab without the ladder anyway, which I should be getting today, I believe. And we got our DIY as well, the stone table, which I was probably going to learn one way or another. It's not every time, but a lot of times those first 3 plots include needing to build some kind of table, and stone table, pretty common, but fine. It's good. It's good to get some of those early items out of the way because hopefully in the not too distant future, I'll be able to get some really interesting crafting recipes to play with. And we did find our money rock, which unfortunately I did not do on the previous day. So we are behind on getting those, consistent money trees. And that's okay. I'm doing my best. I am still kind of using the money rock money to grow new money trees, because I'm kind of poor, but the money rock, or the money tree rather, is going to be grown from a spot I found just across the river here. There we are. We got our bells. We will plant 10,000 bells in their place, and we will put this tree in the lineup. Get everything donated. We'll purchase some clothing from Mabel that I will not keep, receive our daily points, and then finally deal with Tom Nook, who is going to ask us nicely or not so nicely, it kind of depends on your interpretation, I guess, about placing down 3 new plots for some neighbors. We have a lot of items we're going to need to craft, and, we got to kind of pick where these things are going to go, which is giving me a little bit of anxiety because, again, I want everything as much out of the way as possible so that rebuilding the island eventually is easy. There's one thing I always forget, and that's that we have to craft the first bridge. This is required for getting the plots because he doesn't want people to fall in the river or whatever. So crafting the bridge requires us to first craft 4 log stakes. And because I'm trying to be, a little bit stingy right now with supplies, I'm only going to craft 3 log stakes, and then I'm going to take the other log stakes that I've been calling a nightstand and just use those as well. These ones right here that serve literally no purpose except ruining my nice floors. But once we have all that, we can make what I like to call the hot dog bridge. I call it the hot dog bridge because once it's built, it'll look like a pack of hot dogs. Looks like we already have our first excuse to time skip today, which we will do momentarily. I don't think we can place down the plots until that bridge is done. Oh, that's a lie. We can wait for the bridge construction to finish, or we can just ask him what we should do. I think he'll just give us the plots, which is great. I really don't need them to be across the river. These are going to move anyway. It doesn't matter. So yeah, let's ask what we should do. and let's get these plots. I did finally get the ladder DIY, and now a pro tip for you if you're newer to Animal Crossing. Once you get a bunch of recipes like this from Tom Nook upon asking for the plots that you need to put down, I would go ahead and just favorite all of them. And the reason you want to do this is because at this point, there's a good amount of DIYs, and it's hard to remember every single item that is required for, each house. Each one requires 6 items. We got 3 houses to build. You do the math. But now, if you go into your favorites menu, you can bet that pretty much anything those houses will require is in here, which should help jog your memory once you're going back and forth between your house plot and your crafting table. And while we're on the subject of like new players to Animal Crossing New Horizons, I have a bit of a confusing thing that I just thought about that kind of annoys me. Why is it that the hot dog bridge is the first and only bridge you craft, or that needs to be crafted rather? So every other bridge from here on out, I'm going to have to purchase from Tom Nook and then pay off and then wait for it to be constructed. But he had me go out and literally handcraft all the elements for the bridge. And yet for some reason, I'm still going to have to wait a day, which is weird, right? Like, I had to craft everything. I had to choose a spot for it. Why can't we just build the bridge today? It's especially weird because it's not even making me wait a day to do the next phase of the game, which is to find homes for all these villagers. It would make sense if it was like, oh, we want to slow walk this. We want to make sure that you can't do everything in one day. But no, it's just making us wait for no good reason at all. Anyway, the reason for chopping down all these trees is because we are going to be putting probably all of these plots right next to resident services here. And I think, that'll kind of keep them out of the way a little bit. I'm not sure which island or part of the island we're going to decorate first, but it might not be this one. So I might actually start with our island entrance and work my way back. And by that point, it won't, matter so much because these houses, like, I don't know if you know this, but when you first place them down, they take up way more room than a normal house. You need to have enough room to put like a bunch of furniture around them. I think this is probably a good spot. Leaves room to get behind the bridge. So yeah, let's just put it here. It might delete that rock. I don't know. Oh, the rock's fine. But yeah, as you can see, it has that outline on the outside, and that's just for all of the different pieces of furniture that this is going to ask you to put in the yard. It looks like before we place the third one, I will need to move my peach trees that we planted last time. I was just crafting up some tools, and I realized there is one thing that I can buy from this catalog every day that doesn't really break the rules, and that's music. Music is cool because, it kind of adds a lot of personality to different builds. And, I know I didn't craft it, but I can craft music players, different types of radios, at least one that I can think of off the top of my head. And so I think it's important to have as many songs as possible. We got our third plot placed down, and now it's pretty much time to start putting furniture in all of them. I don't know if I'm supposed to go look for the villagers first or put the furniture in and then go look for them. My plan, though, is to get all the villager hunting done like today. So I'm just putting these down and getting them out of my inventory and out of my way. But yeah, anyway, let's start just seeing what each one needs, and we'll worry about like who's going to live where in a moment. I think what's going to happen is that we get the items for this first plot, and then it will tell us that Eric is moving in, which means we then don't want to get the items for the other 2 plots until we hand pick our other villagers. Went ahead and got my peach trees moved out of the way for now. And I've also crafted myself a new DIY workbench. I've been meaning to put one outside anyway, just chilling here next to resident services. But with all the plots also right here, it just felt like a good way to kind of optimize this whole process of finishing these up. So going to my favorites, I can see all the items that we just earned, and I already know what I need. I need cherry speakers, the cherry lamp, and the pot for inside. And then I need a barrel and a swinging bench, which is not in here, and a hay bed on the outside. Some of those I unlocked earlier, so they did not make it into my favorites list. It's not a foolproof system, but hey, it is less to remember because having to remember all 6 of those things as you run back to the crafting table does prove to be a bit challenging. So having most of them in one place is kind of nice, I guess. Here are all of the interior items, and then here are the last of the exterior items, which is cool. So now let's go see If we go in and out of this tent, I think Eric will be moving into that plot. And indeed, it is sold, and it is Eric's new home. Okay, now, this means we need to go out and try to hunt for 2 hand-picked villagers. The problem, of course, is that I have no points. Virtually no points. We can earn enough to get like 3 tickets today, unless I really grind this out. But I don't know if it's worth it. We have 30 real-life days. I guess less than that now. Since we already have Eric, who is in the top 50, at least for now, because they can move around, we are already in a really good place. So even if the very tiny villager hunt we're about to do doesn't, yield any great results in terms of villagers we're going to find, I'm not too worried yet. We have plenty of time still to earn some points and try and get a couple more top 50 villagers on this island. Basically what I'm saying is, unless I'm ready to spend several hours gathering points and Nook Miles tickets, we kind of just need to take whoever this is, okay? We have 1 ticket left. I don't know. It's either take this person or autofill. Is it freaking Celia again? What? I've only gone to like 2 islands. How am I already getting duplicates? This is unbelievable. I'm looking for a recipe real quick, but I'm not seeing one. I'm not going to stick around. I'm so disappointed. I cannot believe how bad our luck is. All right, last ticket. So one of those plots is going to autofill. That's what I've decided. I'm not going to keep grinding away at this. I mean, I was originally going to make this challenge to get 3 top 10 villagers, and I realized as I was, setting things up, that's not a good idea. But now I'm seeing that the top 50 is probably also going to be difficult to do. Let's be fair, I don't remember your name. It is Bertha, who is number 222 on the villager popularity list. And again, this ranking does change, but we are not anywhere close within the margin of error. There is no way Bertha moves up over 100 spots to be in the top 50. However, Bertha is kind of cute. For a hippo villager, I wouldn't normally go for a hippo villager. Bertha's pretty adorable. So I don't like surprises. I'm going to move Bertha in so we know what we're getting. And then we're going to try to get a good autofill. That's the kind of gamble we've taken now. We're going to get a good autofill, hopefully. And then don't forget, the campsite is always a smug. The very first campsite villager is always smug, which means there's a couple different top 10 villagers that we could get from the campsite. I hadn't caught a black bass before. That's cool. Maybe this island wasn't so bad after all. I also found a free fossil, which is great. And I am going to hit the rocks while I'm here. With a bunch more chores done, it's now time to look and see what the second plot requires of us. And that is going to be the interior, which is wooden block stereo, table, and then lily wreath. And then the exterior items, which are going to be natural garden chair, table, and bird bath. So, not too bad. I think I have everything I need to make those. Maybe not the stuff for the lily wreath, but we can go into the cliffs and grab the flowers. And that's going to be white, red, and yellow lilies, which I have to remember to go get. Let's do the bird bath and everything else. Okay, we got the 2 wooden block items donated. I'm placing the table and chair down here facing resident services. I have a feeling that guests at resident services are going to be using that all the time. So I'm putting it there because I don't really think the homeowner is going to get a lot of use out of it. Do you ever see your homeowners using stuff we put out for them? No, it's always some other rando. Anyway, and there's their bird bath. So that should be all of the exterior items. Now we just got to go get the lilies we need to finish up. Everything's been placed. I've come back outside and boom, the plot is sold, and it's sold to Wendy. Oh my goodness. So Wendy is number 177 currently in the rankings. And yeah, I guess I'm glad we went out and got at least 1 villager we know, but this was the surprise. This was the autofill villager. I was thinking this was going to be plot 3. I guess not. That means Bertha lives here. All right, so we just got to get all the items. I'm a little disappointed. Wendy, Bertha, I'm just so glad we managed to get Eric. Okay, officially our first balloon. Here we go. I hope it's a recipe. It is summer. There are a bunch of recipes that would be awesome to have. It's clay. Anyway, all Bertha's stuff is now placed down, which means each of these plots is done. And Tom Nook has awarded me some fencing, which is cool. I'm going to keep it. I didn't craft it myself. Huh. No, that is a conundrum. I would really like to keep it because it's 50 fences and I'm so material poor right now, but also I'm money poor. So I guess selling them is probably the right thing to do. There's also something else that I remembered. You see, the floor and the wall here are not made by me, and that means they need to be made by me. And unfortunately, this is all I've made so far. But rules are rules, okay? And it took me a few days to realize this, but we're here now. Here we are. This is my house. This is where I live now. Speaking of my house, that is going to be the next thing we have to tackle. I need to pay down another home loan. There's honestly so much to do, and we are 3 days into this challenge. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. So if the next episode is ready, it will be on the screen right now. Go ahead, click on it.